I get 20 emails a day asking me to advertise every crappy garden gadget in the book, but there's only 5 things that I think every indoor gardener actually needs, and most of them are dirt cheap. A good pair of shears seems to be essential for every gardener. They're sharp, reliable, but have you heard of knife? Knife good, knife sharp, knife in drawer. Honestly, most of my important cutting has just been done with a straight blade kitchen knife. A lot of these bigger cuts, like the ones on my Monstera, can't be made with typical garden shears, and upgrading to a lever-powered lopper pruner for like $50 doesn't really seem to be the answer. Plus, you already have a knife, so it'll cost you $0. As long as you're not cutting into something like the old and woody tissue of, say, a rubber tree, for example, most of the plant tissue is going to be green, easy to cut through, and you're not really in danger of dulling your favorite kitchen knife. And my favorite thing from this list, which is so silly, it's just a water bottle. This is 4 liters. See, I even labeled it. 1, 2, 3, and 4 at the top. Or 1 gallon in Imperial. I just label these with painter's tape and a Sharpie, and honestly, it saved me so much time when I'm mixing my different fertilizers, soil enhancers, and other products. If I'm ever using fish fertilizer, I just fill this to the top and add 10 milliliters of the product. My organic tomato fertilizer at full strength is 20 milliliters in a full container, so if I ever want to go half strength, it's just easy math. Distilled or spring water, it doesn't really matter. The main point is that you're making this purchase one time and then reusing these over and over for years. A wooden barbecue skewer is my go-to item if you want to know when to water your plant next. By sticking the skewer all the way to the bottom of the pot, you can see how dry your soil actually is. This is what helps me figure out my plant's watering schedules, and I know if I'm watering my plant too frequently. Here's how it works. Stick the skewer into your soil all the way to the bottom of the pot. Then you wait. Twist the stick around so that it makes as much contact with the soil as possible. While this does take some finesse, essentially a lot of soil on the stick means that at that depth, all of the soil in the pot is still wet. If there's a little bit of soil, then the plant is approaching fully dry, and with no soil, the plant is completely dry. In practice, this is what it might actually look like. This plant is a Rhaphidophora foraminifera, and I just watered it this morning, so the soil is still pretty soaking wet. You should be able to tell visually. I'm sticking the stake in, going all the way down to the bottom, rotate to increase contact, and when I pull the stake out, I am expecting to see that the stake is pretty wet throughout the entirety from here to here of the stick. A soaking wet plant, you should see through the entirety of the pot, the whole stick is wet. You can tell from here to around here, there's discoloration. Also, you're looking to see how much dirt is actually sticking to the stake. When you pull it off, it should come off pretty dirty. This is my whalefin snake plant, or Dracaena masoniana, and because I water it about once a month, it's been around 20 days since I watered it last, so I'm expecting to see this stick come out nearly completely dry. You have to use the same technique all the way to the bottom as best as you can. Twist it to create more contact, and then when taking it out, a little bit of dirt at the bottom here, but it's essentially 100% dry. And this Monstera Maryland that I watered 3 days ago, I have it on a 5-day watering schedule, so I'm expecting after the stick test, it's going to be about 80% dry, so I'm guessing maybe 1 to 2 inches of wet soil on the stick. This one's going to take a bit more effort to get all the way to the bottom. Let it sit, spin it. This does get harder as the pot fills up with more and more roots, but again, the more you practice with this, the better you get at it. Once I pull it out, soil seems to stop at about here. So doing the test with this whole pot, I'd say it's probably around 70, maybe 60% dry, which I think is close enough, and it still should be on an okay schedule within the next 2 days. And no, you don't need to throw away your barbecue skewer every time you use it. With practice, you'll notice the slight differences in color change, but more importantly, pay attention to how much soil is actually stuck to the stick. With practice, you'll develop a better sense of what exactly it means for how much moisture is still in your pot. 100 barbecue skewers at this price is basically 1 cent each. Another option could be moisture meters, and while the price range is usually $5 to $15, that's pretty good, but the quality really can be hit or miss on these products. If you're someone who's mixing your own soil and adding amendments like orchid bark or perlite, the accuracy of your moisture meter goes down the more things that you add in to your soil. I swear I say this every single video, but get a light meter for your plants. You're probably not getting as much light as you think you are. Your plants would almost always benefit from more light, and light is around 90% of your plant's success. There are free apps that you can download on your phone. Here's how you use them. Put your phone at the level of your plant, because generally the light is detected from your front-facing camera. Your phone screen needs to be facing your brightest light source. If your light is coming from a window, you face your phone screen towards your window and then you read the meter. If your light is coming from a grow light, face your phone screen towards the grow light and then read the meter. Even though there are lots of highly accurate grow light apps, you can still opt for a light meter. They will always be more accurate, especially at higher light levels and outdoors. I use this meter, but every inexpensive device basically has the same format. A sensor and somewhere to read an output. Use it in exactly the same way I explained with the phone app, with the sensor facing your strongest light source. An inexpensive light meter can cost anywhere between $20 to $35. Now sometimes I will get comments saying that a light meter is just not accurate enough and you will need something called a par meter. But when I ask them if they really need to spend $100 to get a radiation reading from the sun, they either never reply or delete their comments. A light meter like this or a cell phone app is perfect if you're just trying to figure out where in your home has the most light. But sure, you can always buy a better light meter for your plants. You can always buy a better light meter for your plants. You can always buy a better light meter for your plants. You can always buy a better light meter for your plants. So here's how I actually use my light meter. When I first got a light meter, I felt like a treasure hunter. I was taking this thing in every single spot around my house just to see the subtle differences of how light reacts in a home. Now, if I got a light meter for the first time, one of the first things that I would do is check the corners of your space. In this corner back here, I keep a ZZ plant. And the reason why I keep a ZZ plant is because it is such a low light plant. And even though these giant windows are right here, this plant is actually getting only 33 to 40 foot candles in this corner right now at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. If I just take this light and then stick it just around the corner like this, it spikes up to 300 foot candles, which is a massive difference. This plant at this light level, it's basically in stasis, while everything else that stays over here next to these large windows, these things are going to be thriving. It's talking about a light score between less than 1 and around 5 in these spots over here. The second thing I do is to make sure I understand the differences between the windows to the walls, to the window. The second thing I do is measure the light differences from your window to a table in your living room. A light reading directly at the window is 630 foot candles when compared to my living room table that's 4 feet away at almost 200 foot candles. Despite you learning certain instances of light that your plant is getting throughout the day, you can never really know how much light your plant is getting in total. So that's why I worked with my friend Cal to build this app that can actually give your plants a total light score that gets more accurate the more readings that you take. And our helpful houseplant database can actually tell you if you're getting enough light for your specific species of plant. So once you use our app and you realize, oh no, my rubber tree is actually getting a light score of 0.6 DLI, which is way below what it needs, you might have to turn to grow lights. With grow lights, you can guarantee a consistent way to get more light throughout the day. Depending on which direction your windows face or what's outside your windows obstructing your view of the sun, grow lights can generally outperform the amount of natural light you can get in a lot of home conditions. Now, full disclosure, for the last 3 or 4 years, I've been exclusively working with the grow light brand Soltech because I like their product. Everyone at the company is super nice and their lights fit into any aesthetic, but any light will increase the growth of your plant. So if you're on a budget, you're looking for bright and cheap, buy any multi-pack of whatever cheapest grow light that you can find on Amazon. The thing that you do want to watch out for is the wattage of your bulb, because you need to know if your light thingy, your light fixture, can support the wattage of your bulb. Electricity is very dangerous. Please don't burn your house down. Also, a lower wattage bulb, you'll have to move your house plant closer, and a higher wattage you can get away with moving it farther away to get around the same effect. Some lights, like those blue and purple lights, are so obnoxious they will probably give you eye strain if they're directly in your living area. So if you want some recommendations, join our Kill This Plant community Discord. We have a section for grow lights where you can get great recommendations. But basically, do whatever you want for your budget and your aesthetics. It's your home. And once you take a reading from your grow lights at 1,200 foot candles for 12 hours a day, and you add it to your natural light, it comes out to, hey, 11 DLI. That's pretty good. Try out our app in the description below. It's just me and my friend Cal making it. Also, if you wanted to learn more, you can check out this video here. Okay, bye-bye.